In episode 4, Gus tries to explain to the hybrids why he lied, but none of them want to hear it. They're really, really upset with him. And the Fox hybrid, the one whose name we still don't know and only talks when he feels like it, well, he feels like talking now. He tells Gus, we're getting out of here, but we're doing it without you. Because we don't trust you anymore. You or your big man. So unfortunately, Gus is now on an island. Even Wendy doesn't really side with him. She tells Gus, you're different than the rest of us. It's pretty clear. They keep bringing you back. And this is the worst thing Gus hears, because he finally feels like he found a group of people that are like him. And now those people are telling him that he's different. And he can't exactly explain why they keep bringing him back, so he just has to stay quiet as he watches the other hybrids plan the escape without him. Meanwhile, the guy he helped has found a cure. Singh, using all of the research that he brought back from Birdie's lab, has tested the embryos, and it's come back that they don't have the virus. He is so happy. He's looking at a video of Birdie and he's thanking her, and that's when Ronnie walks in and he gives her the exciting news. They both come to tears at the realization that Ronnie is going to be cured. But then Ronnie notices a smudge of blood on her face, and it's from Singh's hand. And then she looks to her right, and there's a hybrid under a sheet that is clearly dead. And Ronnie's good mood turns pretty sour quickly, because she didn't want any more hybrids to die. But obviously her husband had different ideas. The news about the cure comes at a really good time, though, because Abbott is back. He's not happy with the updates that Johnny gives him about Ronnie moving to new quarters, about intruders while he was gone. And he actually asks him, why do you always make me regret trusting you? After getting dressed down by Abbott, Johnny goes to visit Ronnie. He tells her, look, you're not going to be able to walk around out here without an escort now that my brother, the general, is back. And Ronnie had no idea that Johnny and Abbott were related. In Ronnie's shock, she asks, why do you put up with that? Seeing how he treats you. He's a monster, and you're nothing like that. He's got those poor things locked up in a basement. And Johnny cuts her off and says, he's all that I got. And while the one Abbott was talking to Ronnie, the other, the general, was talking to her husband, getting an update on how finding a cure is going. And when Singh explains everything and Abbott hears the fact that he has indeed found a cure, his mood suddenly changes. He can't believe that he actually did it. But one of the ways he did it required killing Peter, the thing he promised Gus he wouldn't do. He's only got one vial of the cure, though, and Abbott takes it. He tells him that he'll give it to him back, he just doesn't want him saving his wife just quite yet. But he does want to host a celebration with Singh and his wife. He wants to celebrate this occasion, and it's not like Singh has a choice. So that night, Ronnie and Singh reluctantly head to go have dinner with Abbott. But Ronnie had some other ideas. First, the menu. She's a trained chef, so she had some ideas on what to do with that. But the second idea she had was to invite Johnny and make it a full family affair. Abbott's really surprised that Ronnie took this initiative, but he doesn't fight it. He lets Johnny stay. And it turns out we actually see a human side of Abbott that we haven't seen before. When Abbott brings up the fact that Singh never would have been motivated to find a cure without Ronnie, she says, yeah, it's a team effort. Just like with you and Johnny. And Abbott says, yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Who can you trust in this world if not for family? He then starts telling about his life before the Great Crumble, with him and Johnny being in a band, looking out for each other, and how their mom sat him down one time and said, I'll be gone one day and you will be all Johnny has. You're going to have to take care of him. Abbott actually joined the military to send money back so that Johnny could pursue his passion. Then one day, the Six showed up. Destiny kind of intervened, but he never forgot his promise to his mom to not leave Johnny's side. One of his soldiers then comes up and interrupts the dinner and tells Abbott that the 3 other leaders have heard about his cure and they want to meet with him the next day. And Abbott chuckles, because this is exactly what he wanted, them coming to him. When Ronnie and Dr. Singh go back to their place, they have differing views on General Abbott. Dr. Singh doesn't think he's so bad, and Ronnie thinks he's horrible. Ronnie actually questions if they were even at the same dinner. But Dr. Singh thought he made some pretty good points. For example, he does wonder if he would have found a cure had General Abbott not put a gun to his head. They're not going to agree on this at all, and they just decide to climb in bed and remind themselves that hopefully they're going to be free of Abbott soon. Not too far away, though, in the preserve that night, the kids are still trying to escape. The only one that's talking to Gus is Bobby. He still trusts Gus. And he takes some of the tools that Gus had grabbed from his father's toolkit, and he uses them to cut off the collar around his neck. Bobby then asks Gus help because he can't reach the pipe that he wants to crawl through, and Gus is more than happy to help out Bobby. But when Wendy sees this, she gets pissed off. She looks at Gus and says, if anything happens to him, I'll never forgive you. But Gus, later on that night, gets a chance to redeem himself when two of the last men come in, and they're kind of mocking the hybrids about who's going to be next on the chopping block. One of them actually points out the alligator tooth that he has from the last one, and that gives Gus a hint on what happened to Peter. But Gus isn't about to let his friends die. He goes after both of the last men, and he tries to escape, running through the preserve. He figures that this distraction can help out the others possibly escape. He runs and runs until he runs into General Abbott, and Abbott knows all about Gus. Now, the big man and Amy are still trying to get to Gus. They're a little concerned, though. Ever since Abbott's little announcement at Factory Town, everybody's partying up like the sick is just non-existent. The good news is they're not going to be sticking around Factory Town for very long. Amy got word from her people on where to meet them. Now, she's never actually met these people, but they're called the Air Lords. They're mercenaries who deliver goods, and because of that, Jep is a little concerned, because mercenaries work for money and they don't have any. But as they're discussing this, the Air Lords come up, put bags over their head, and take them to a secure location. One of them, though, was punched in the face by Jep, but once the guy recognizes who Jep is, the former football player, he geeks out a little bit. The leader of the Air Lords then finally shows up. Her name is Dolly, and Amy takes it from there, saying, you helped me out once. You dropped all of these flyers around bringing hybrids to my preserve, and now I need your help getting those hybrids back. She explains the issue going on at the preserve and that Abbott's army is sitting there waiting. But Dolly says, we did that job for 100 meal ration credits. It's going to cost you a lot more than that. So I ask you, what exactly is in it for us? And Jep says, well, the spoils of war. I mean, that preserve is loaded. They have food, they have ammo, they even have a tank. And all of it is yours if you help us out. Because all we want is the hybrids. And when the one Air Lord hears the word tank, he gets real excited. He's sold right then and there. But Jeff's offer is a really good one. So Dolly agrees to help them out. As they're walking through the Air Lord's warehouse, looking at all the items that they have, the one guy who is geeking out over Jep is driving him nuts. He's annoying as hell, and when he calls Jep Big Man, Jep gets really upset, because only one person's allowed to call him Big Man, and it ain't this dude. They then walk over and start mapping out the problems of getting into the reserve and how they're supposed to do it. It's not going to be easy. But Jep almost ruins the entire thing before it kicks off when the annoying guy has some snide remarks about hybrids. Jep tells him to apologize to Amy, but the guy doesn't. Not only does he insult him, but he refers to the fact that as a football player, he was a choke artist. It causes a fight where Jep could completely destroy this guy, but Dolly pulls out a gun and tells him, you need to step outside now. Luckily, Jep's actions have not ruined the deal. It causes Amy to smooth things over, but when she goes to check on Jep, Jep explains a little bit of the reasoning behind his actions. One of the reasons he gets so upset is because of what he used to do. He never told Amy this, but he lied to her. He said that as a last man, he didn't take hybrids, but in fact, not only did he take them, he was really good at it. They called him the hybrid catcher. And he can't guarantee that he wasn't the one who took the 2 sheep hybrids that belonged to Amy. Ever since meeting Gus, he's tried to make amends on this. But this revelation shocks Amy to her core. She can't believe that Jep was one of them. She's completely disgusted by him, and when it comes time to leave for the mission, Dolly tells Jep, yeah, you're not going with. Change of plans. Tommy's a little taken aback, and Dolly says, hey, look, it wasn't my idea. It was hers. And she points to Amy. That's when Amy tells Jep, yeah, you're not coming with because you don't deserve to be anywhere around hybrids. Gus is better off with me. And then Jep has to watch Amy, Dolly, and the rest of the Air Lords fly off as he is stuck on the ground. He's not the only one on the ground, though, that's looking for Gus. So is Bear. She's enlisted with the Last Men, and she goes through basic training and kills it. Most of these people suck at tactical stuff, but with her training in the Animal Army, she's a natural. So much so that when they get a mission to go round up some hybrids, she's called upon. It's going to be her last test until she's initiated into the group. Thank you so much for checking out this recap. Please consider subscribing to the channel and subscribing to my Patreon. Hit thumbs up if you liked it. Smash that thumbs down button if you thought it sucked. If you left a comment, I don't get back to you. I usually don't check the comments unless they're like a super comment. Also, if you don't see the next video up on the end screen, not to worry, it'll be up in a day or two.